Welcome, dear friends. Welcome to 21 days to spiritual awakening. This is day 21. We made it. We made it in this beautiful journey. The opportunity of learning, the opportunity of being together in this community that gives support to one another. And we're very, very happy that we succeeded to read the book to you, to share these teachings with you, and we're truly grateful to Brother Jacob for bringing it up to us, to Chico Xavier for psychographing, to Emmanuel for vouching the opportunity that we have been given, and for the translators, Carlos Diaz, Shane Martin, and Evelyn Nunes. Thanks to a teamwork effort in both worlds, we were able to be here with you. Today is the last day, and the chapter is unique. It's unbelievable, because each and every chapter he unfolds a new feature that we haven't paid attention before in our lives. He may repeat things that we may know, but then he adds information. And what a beautiful synchronicity with everything that is happening in our lives, in the lives of our countries, in the lives of individuals personally and collectively. And we welcome you today to this last chapter titled Return to the Task, and we invite you to this journey, a journey to deeper awakening. As Emmanuel says in the book Living Spring, that we should be awake, preparing ourselves for the great transition. Death is not the goal, but it's a needed passage before we continue. And it's between this life and everything that happens next. So the person who is attentive is constantly focused that life may end at any day, at any time, and we shall not indulge in any feeling that is not sacred. These are the teachings that have been given to us now. Okay? Now I mean through the book by Brother Jacob. The book began by him saying that he thought that life would present to him a different transition to the afterlife. He thought it was going to be something much easier, like discarnating, boom, opening the eyes, because he believed in the afterlife, he prepared himself. But it wasn't quite like this. He needed help. It wasn't dramatic as other cases, but he needed help. He felt pain and suffering, etc. And for him, the major thing is that he didn't find himself illuminated in the afterlife. Before we start this chapter today, since this is a therapeutic question, what is for you? What are you expecting to find or to feel after death? Do you have clarity of mind? Oh, Vanessa, I don't want to talk about it. Let's sing. No. We need to talk. We need to talk. What are you expecting to feel, to experience when you die? When the physical body dies? You know, all those memories that you're hiding, the feelings that you're trying to disguise, they're gonna surface. Are you ready to face them? We often talk about cleaning of the house, decluttering of the house, but the main focus here is the being a minimalist inside of us. decluttering inside of us. What are the grudges we have been holding? What are the resentments we have been holding? Vanessa, they're all in the same, yeah, just different versions, right? So we need to ask ourselves, how can I declutter inside to travel light when I transition back to our spiritual home? What are the things that you're trying to pretend you're not seeing, pretend you're not feeling? Face it, be courageous, ask Jesus. He is the unique therapist. You think Jesus was only available when he was incarnated? By principle, he's more available now than when he was on the earth. You can ask him, Jesus, I have an issue. Only you can help me. And open your heart. Devote your life to this dialogue with Jesus through meditations and prayers, so you can travel light. We can travel light. Shall we? Right? All right, so let us say hi to this adorable family. And I know, I see that each day people who are not present here, they watch, they say hi. So if you're watching us past the hours and you're saying hi, hi back to you, much love to you, and we're attentive to knowing that you're there too, okay? This is recorded in the universe, not only here on Facebook, and it's spread out to everyone. So it's a very emotional evening. This book, I confess to you, the translators told me, Vanessa, of all books we've done, this was the most challenging. And I said, why? Not because of the language, but there was something in it. And I agree. Probably you don't know, but throughout these 21 days, many crazy, weird things happened to prevent, and we kept coming. And I know it may have happened the same for you. So it's just a confirmation that this is something that we need to keep meditating. We need to keep studying. We need to keep cherishing, because it's very liberating. Very, very much so. Right? Yes, Jailton. Welcome, Jailton. And welcome, Valéria. Thank you so much, Valéria. Thank you, Teresa Catapano, for being here with us. And Danny and Erica. Thank you for being with us and helping us. Karina, how are you, Karina? Rihanna. Friends, we are approaching the deadline, July 4th. If you want to send books and donations to Kardec Radio, we're going to convert them into books to the friends in South Africa. Leia Severo, beautiful Leia. Thank you, Leia, for your partnership, your friendship, your love for God, for Jesus, for Kardec Radio. If I may say this, but adios, and thank you for everything else that you do, the prayers, the messages, daily messages. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, I'm going to share something quickly here. Some people say, Vanessa, I don't know how I can help people. It's easy. Do what Adilson does. Okay, he has been doing this for quite a while. He records messages from the books by Emmanuel in sequence and sends it to the WhatsApp list. I love it. It's so deep, inspirational. And I would recommend, if you feel like helping your family, friends, do the same. Something of the nature, right? Lisa Teles, how are you? Sol, how are you? Paula, it's so good to have you here. Right, you're right, beginning a new week. calibrating ourselves. Katya, how are you, Katya? Sunshine, sunshine. Thank you, thank you. We're sending you pretty soon the next steps of your beautiful help. Thank you, Fabiani. How are you, Fabiani? Jailton was saying, I just want to have no attachments to anything or anyone, so I can be disconnected from the incarnated world. Me too, me 3, me 4, everybody. Right, Carol Correa? Right, Mark Smith? Thank you for being with us. Julija. Julija, we're connected, united, and let me remind everyone, when you go to sleep, you know, we meet to do works together, to learn together. And that's why we feel this connection so powerful. So you may be in a different country, different state, but you know, by the power of the mind, we're closer than to the people who may be just physically next to us. Okay, Julija? Count on us. Always, always. Rita! Beijo, Rita. Rudy! Yes, 21 evenings. Amazing. Or days for Rihanna, Julija, right? South Africa, Australia, and other locations, right? Patricia! Yes, we're thankful to Adilson for sure. And Sunshine. Oh! Okay, we'll talk about it, Sunshine. Luciana is here. Welcome, Luciana. Friends, are you ready? Now, pick up the tissue and be ready. Right, Nico? Welcome, Nico. Let's join. Join in. Return. It's very emotional today because of the story, because of the way he describes, and because of how much this has to do with each one of us. He begins the chapter, Return to the Task, by saying, work is one of the greatest blessings of God in the field of the hours. Work. In his gifts of fulfillment for the good, the sad person reassures herself. The ignorant one learns something. The sick person recovers. And the criminal regenerates. It's occupational therapy. Work here means what Kardec discloses to us in the Spirit's book. Work here means make our time useful. So what is to make our time useful? You're taking care of your body. You're working. You're reading a good book. Working. You're talking good conversations. We're working. Oh, Vanessa. No, but work is good, my friend. I know we still have this ancient feeling. You know, there was a time, and there is still that going on the earth, that work is just for those who are inferior. The ones who are superior socioeconomically, they don't work. Work's not beautiful. It's only for the people. And actually, we learn with Jesus and then reinforced in Spiritism, as Jesus said, if my Father never stops working, so shall we. You see, the more we evolve, the more we work. The more we make our time useful. Right? We had that conversation before, and here we continue. Now that some rays of light were making themselves felt within me, I sought to deepen the greatness of the act of praying and meditating. Little by little, I lost interest in inquiries of every sort. And when talking with friends of my new circle, I knew how to keep the conveniences of the timely word. This is so interesting. I remember one day Mentor Joseph telling me, Vanessa, when the spirits told Kardec in the Law of Progress, in the Spirit's book it's published, that we have the illusion that we're civilized, but actually we're semi-civilized. He meant in every different aspect that we're not truly civilized when we don't know how to speak appropriately, constructively. And that means speaking less. We don't need to speak all the time. Vanessa, you're speaking on Facebook all the time. No, I'm just sharing. I'm just sharing. But he's talking about people like being curious. And I'll never forget, for those who do fraternal counseling, it's a very important feature I learned with Mentor Joseph. I want to share with you. He said, do not ask questions about people's lives. Oh, but Vanessa, in order to help, I need to ask. No, you don't. The less you know, the better it is, because the spirits know. You need to let people talk spontaneously. And when they're going to say too much, you say, no, thank you. You don't need to disclose that much because I don't want you to feel bad about yourself. You see, it's that balance of helping without being curious. Without thinking that when I know every little detail of the person's life, I'll be able to help more. Only God helps us. And we may be instruments. And when we serve as instruments, we don't need to know. Talking about mediumship and unconscious mediumship, here it is. Often people ask me, Vanessa, you talked to that person. What did that person say? I say, I don't recall. I don't recall. I always ask God, please do not keep the details in my mind, because I do not want to disrupt that person's life. Because if I keep thinking about people's drama, I'll be disturbed. It's a very important practice. Emotional shielding. Not because of me, but because I don't want to disturb the person too. The other day, a woman told me, oh, for 2 days I was so angry with my husband. And I kept thinking very bad things about him. On the 3rd day, we, reconciled. And he didn't know how I was thinking about him or feeling about him. He knew I was upset. He told me, Vanessa, he said, the person told me, Vanessa, he told me, for 2 days I had such a headache, I thought my headache was going to explode. And I heard similar stories, right to left, telling us about the power of our feelings, the power of our thoughts. So we need to be attentive. Speak less, and he says, praying more, meditating more. Praying more, meditating more. So that's the number one observation for us. Pray, meditate more. He says, I was preparing to be more spontaneous and disinterested in the fraternal work to become efficient and ready to serve. So how often do we prepare ourselves to do works of charity? How do you prepare yourself? Oh, Vanessa, just have happiness and joy and goodwill. It doesn't work. We have to prepare ourselves more deeply. Long conversations, he says, without fundamental advantages to the life of the spirit, lost the knowledge with which they presented themselves at first, when I interjected Martha and Brother Andrade on 1,000 different subjects. He actually focused on doing counseling with entities that are suffering. He would spend long hours talking to them, listening to them, helping them. And Bezerra de Menezes asserted him that the understanding of the soul is like tiny lenses in the infinite universal work. Okay? So now where are we now? He's preparing to go back to service. He's already listening to the entities that are disturbed, like spirit counseling. He continues on that task, but he needs to give another step. He's ready now. Dr. Bezerra de Menezes said, now you can prepare yourself. And yet, Brother Jacob says, he was feeling unable to start the service, to restart. So he looked for Dr. Bezerra de Menezes to advise him. And the great counselor received Brother Jacob with usual kindness and explained, hello Nina, hello Adolfo, hello Joyce. It's good to have you here. Big hug to you and Marco and Daniel. Now, Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, see, talking about Dr. Bezerra, Joyce comes in. Right, Joyce? The ones that are tutored. Every single physician who is a spiritist is under the care, the tutorship of Dr. Bezerra de Menezes' team in the world. So, feel the blessings, my friend, and let him guide your practice, right? Jacob, said Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, if our ignorant brothers and sisters, after the death of the body, most of the time are still handcuffed to their actions to which they dedicated themselves, we in turn continue the services of spiritualization. We feel scorched in the thirst of conquering glorious summits. We intend to acquire more light, more joy, and abundant life. Me too, Dr. Bezerra. Right, friends? We do too. In order to enrich the road that we tread. However, the miracle of our old earthly conceptions does not exist. Aha! Heaven is sufficiently enlightened and joyful to contemplate the veils of shadows and to eliminate the thorns of suffering that derive from our disagreement with the law, and to conquer it, beginning such service in our own soul. Your work is a continuation. Organize a meeting with friends of your good fight and return to the relief processes. Every sector of Christian activity, with brothers who are obsessed, sick, disoriented, ignorant, criminal, or unhappy, incarnated or discarnated, represent an angle of the building of their own paradise. Forgive me the emotion, but let us listen attentively to what Dr. Bezerra de Menezes is saying. Hello, Aiden. A kiss. Friends, he says, when we help people who are obsessed, who are lost, we are helping them build the heaven within. We cannot take these words lightly. We need to feel the invitation he's making to us. Are you afraid of mediumship? Are you afraid of mediumistic meetings? Because if you have studied the books, you have a group, or you want to form a group, friends, We cannot be theoretical spiritists. We need to roll our sleeves and face our true whole selves and work on it to help others, helping ourselves. Mediumship is a faculty that needs to be refined, educated, and we do not educate it by just reading. We need to study and practice. Practice in a team, never alone. It's very risky. The spirit is worthed by the divine expressions that can translate in our own way, because the Creator attends to each person through other people. Return to the relief cases. He's saying, return to the obsession works. They represent the best opportunity to serve the Lord. Did you listen to this, friends? The work of the obsession is the best opportunity to serve the Lord. And who does this work? Spiritists. Some people call me every day or send emails. How can I help the world? Helping yourself and educating yourself in a mediumistic setting. Not saying that you're the medium, but you can do what Brother Jacob did. Partnership with mediums in mediumistic meetings and help the disobsessions. If you want to help the Lord, go rescue those who are sad, who are not knowing that they are wandering. Okay? By helping, releasing, and enlightening others, you will help enhance and magnify yourself. Did you get it now, Sunshine? Thank you for sharing, but did I make it clear now? If not, let us know, because it's an important point. He's telling him that going back and doing rescue work for this obsession, mediumistic works, he is serving the Lord. By helping, releasing, enlightening others, we will help, enhance, and magnify ourselves. Right, Solange? Okay? I know some spiritists who have been studying. Mediumistic meeting is not for me. My spiritist center does not have mediumistic meeting. We need to work on that. We need to work. Recommendation is this. If your center has already been established in a way and you don't have it, call the federation in your country and ask the federation in the United States, Canada, wherever it is, if they can give you a hand to form the group. You know, courses that can be given. I'm not asking you to depend on anybody, but we need to counsel and receive help when we don't know how to do it. Okay? Jailton is asking, are doctors who use the practice in evil way also helped by Dr. Bezerra's Menezes? No, I don't think so, Jailton, because Dr. Bezerra, he has a commitment with humanity as a whole. But in regards to the physician, the health professions, he has a very strong commitment with Christ to transform health practice, a Christ-conscious practice. Okay? I don't think Joseph Mengele was a spiritist, so I don't think he was being inspired by Dr. Bezerra de Menezes. Okay? Rita de Cássia, welcome. Now, he says, because now a major thing that is going to be our homework for the next 7 days. What, Vanessa? Yes. Because he was talking to Dr. Bezerra, Dr. Bezerra then suggested that I concentrate attentively to recall all the services of the last 10 years in order to establish a judicious and methodical plan of work. No, I didn't understand, right? Repeat. Dr. Bezerra de Menezes said, to put together a plan for you to help others, go back to your tasks and services, go and do like a research on your memories regarding the services you've done in the last 10 years, meaning the works he did even when he was reincarnated. You see a good strategy by Dr. Bezerra de Menezes? You know, when you are in a phase of your life, when you are at crossroads, like you don't know exactly where to go, how to do it, stop, rewind the tape, last 10 years, what have I done? How have I done it? And then realize how to proceed. So the past, Emmanuel says in the book Ceifa de Luz, not in English yet, he says, it's like the rear mirror in your car. It's small, but it's the reference. Our past is like that rear mirror in the car. Reference. We need reference to move forward. What have I done? So that's gonna be the homework for all of us. I know Karine and other friends were asking us what's gonna happen next. In the next 7 days, we're gonna be off air, kind of, because we're gonna be doing other works at Kardec Radio. But we're being asked, all of us, to do this homework. 7 days to do like a log of the services of the 10 years, so we can more clearly envision our inner growth in the near future. He says that he retired, he then retreated to do the recollection. I had the idea that a wonderful disk of images was activated within my imagination, slowly projecting on my retentive and all the pictures, my retina, he says, and all the pictures lived in the last decade. You see, why 10 years? 10 years, I remember Divaldo Franco saying about this. It's very meaningful. Within 10 years on Earth, we are achieving a set of some form of expertise. It's like a cycle. If you keep repeating things for 10 years, you may achieve some form of expertise. So when we evaluate what has been learned, we can more easily gravitate to what is to be learned. I noted how much I needed to return to the ministry I had begun by embracing the gospel in the physical realm. Soon afterwards, with the collaboration of Brother Andrade, I arranged a meeting with all the co-workers so we could discuss the plans for the tasks. So you and I are being invited tonight to meditate on what we're gonna do, what we have done in the last 10 years in terms of our services, how we have done it in terms of our emotional thinking process, and then we can more clearly see what we need to focus from now on. Okay? Nina is asking, do we need to be part of a Spiritist Center in order to study and get ready for the mediumistic aspect of doctrine, or can we prepare ourselves by studying on our own? You can study on your own, but the practice needs to be done at least with 2 other people. you know. I've seen cases in which 2 people work together effectively, but 3 people would be ideal. Okay? So talk to us, Nina, because you know, maybe there are other people in your area who are willing to work on that regard. It's like once a week you can program that day for the study and gradual steps to mediumship. Meeting with friends was comforting and interesting. 3/4 of the entities that were present were linked to Brother Jacob through the work of spiritual counseling that he did on the earth. Think about this. He worked, for those who have never been to a spiritist mediumistic meeting, it works like this. You have a table. People sit around. You have the coordinator of the meeting, who usually is not a medium. Ostensible medium. You have mediums who are ostensible, speaking mediums, hearing mediums, writing mediums, And you have spirit counselors who talk to spirits who are in need of being counseled, like psychotherapists, and mediums of support, people who are there to support, or as we say, a John of God, hold the current. So you don't need 1 million people. Actually, it's better when you have a smaller group. So Brother Jacob, when he was in Brazil, or living in Brazil, like as incarnated, he was a spirit counselor. So spirits would come very disturbed, and through the mediums talk, and Brother Jacob would counsel them. Just so we picture. So now he's in the afterlife, gathering a team to work together, and 3/4, 75% of the spirits who are going to work with him were those whom he helped rescue. And we think that the spirits that we're dealing with are just, people say, go to the light. My friend, that doesn't exist. Talk to them like you talk to somebody else who is incarnated. Now, 3/4 of the team that he's putting together to do this rescue work are those whom he helped rescue when he was incarnated. You see the continuity. It's just beautiful. It's beyond words. Renewed, they were regenerated. They were former obsessors, he says. Former obsessors who were not capable of attuning to higher spirits or higher planes. And he said, they sought in me protection, support, because they were still fearing the influence of cruel spirits who were tyrannizing them. Did you know that? The other day, I'll share with you, because my brother, our dear mentor, is allowing me to share with you. The other day, I saw some spirits coming, and they were upset with us because we were helping some people who were obsessed. They wanted to retaliate because they're like, you're invading our privacy. Now, one day, these obsessors will be changed. They will know that they are going to be given an opportunity. But those who use them to bother people may be after them because they gave up the persecutions. It's not easy. Right? So Sunshine is asking, hello, Justina, welcome. Are you saying that the spirits did not move on? No, they moved on, but they are afraid of the other spirits who may be upset with them because they no longer are the henchmen of their obsessive plots. Okay? Isn't that interesting? Angela, isn't that beautiful? Angela is saying here. Yes, that is beautiful. Yeah, to have people who you helped come along with you to serving the good. I agree with you. It's superb. So we feel differently when we go to these meetings. We feel that they are brothers and sisters of ours. There is continuation. Now, it was my responsibility, says Brother Jacob, to discover the horizons of the higher life. But they continue to require the help of someone who would assist them in the movement of the very complex resources they held, as much as my situation called for companions for the duties I had to perform. We were all in the position of goodwill disciples who could not act alone. So they were talking to one another, and what did they do in this meeting? They discussed various cases of obsession, persecutions, and infirmities that they should help out. We were reminded of the imperative to encourage the cooperation of various colleagues threatened by the darkness of discouragement and discord, so as not to immobilize the mind and the arms amongst the suffering of the world. Okay, Brother Andrade, who was present at the meeting, sensibly asserted that it is as difficult to change the dispositions of a persecuting and vengeful spirit as to re-raise a brother who has been discouraged. How many people you know nowadays who are feeling like lack of motivation, discouraged? And Brother Andrade is saying, it's as difficult to lift them up as changing the heart of the obsessors who are persecuting people. It's hard work. Somebody has to do your job. You want to do it? You want it? I'll tell you one thing. One day, recently, I asked Mentor Joseph, why are we studying this book now? And he said, of all things, people in the world, especially out of Brazil, and that's why we're doing this in English, need to instrument themselves mediumistically to do more rescue work groups in the world. In the United States, we have beautiful workbooks that were translated by Jussara's group. Now they are in the Federation. The Spiritist Federation in the United States has expertise enough to guide your group. And there are in each and every federation, people of the world, people who can help you form a group like this. It takes time, study, diligence, patience, but we need to start today. And if you're here tonight, I have no doubt that you're being called to the task if you already have not been inserted in one. It's not by chance. Of all the works we can offer to the world as spiritists, the disobsession work is number one. Humberto de Campos, Emmanuel, André Luiz repeat time and again, Spiritism is the light of discernment. And when people are disturbed, there is no discernment. Disobsession and rescue work are a work of love. They rescue people from their deepest problems. Incarnates and discarnates need that freedom, that liberation. So if you're thinking, I want to take another degree, another graduation, okay. But if you want to help the world, go graduate yourself in the studies and the practice of mediumistic meetings so you can do rescue work in your center and make it available. Because the higher spirits need good outposts on the earth diligent ones, seriously committed, so they can work in this beautiful work of rescuing those who don't know what they're doing. Okay? Sunshine is participating, and you can vouch for the validity of it, right? Cara Correa is ready, and I know we have friends in our group that are ready, and other groups as well. Talk to people who are more experienced so they can teach you the pathway. Join forces with the group, but be patient, tolerant, kind, and invest on the good. You'll be challenged, but remember, the good is supreme. The good is God's creation. Believe in the good and fulfill your good. Okay? Now, in those minutes of brotherhood, he received direct news regarding the relief process. He said he had so much joy in his heart, and death, he says, does not interrupt the good fight against the shadows. It intensifies it, expanding the divine knowledge around the hard work and faithful servant. We would therefore create a set of servants of the gospel of redemption, interested in extending them within a greater spiritual dynamism. And when you do groups like this, think and ask, don't be shy, ask the help of the teams of Brother Jacob, Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, because they are specialists in the case. And they can come and train your team in the spiritual realm and guide you as well. I have no doubt about it. We have schools of illumination, schools of the gospel, and all that the teachers need are good students. If you want to be a good student, boom, you got a good course, right? So Angela is saying, once I heard that healthcare professionals usually have extra spiritual help. Oh, they must, but they must deserve it too, right, Angela? Fabiani, thank you, thank you, thank you. Are you ready? Tissue around? Yeah, you may cry, probably. Because they finally set the date to gather the whole group together. And on the appointed day, you see order, organization. The assembly of fraternity under welcoming trees that surrounded the house were also more beautiful and more serene, offering open flowers that seemed to proclaim our hope in the fruits of the future. Joyful birds sang on the branches, girding them with sublime joy. Pause, visualize, feel it. Let me read just a comment by Adilson before I finish the chapter. To be in a mediumistic meeting has been the most humbling experience in my life. I feel those few hours is an extensive care for the spirits and for us regarding our inner renewal. I feel in the meeting a glimpse of unconditional love, learning to respect and love all without any barrier. Right on. Thank you. You're so right. Thank you, Adilson. That's the feeling. So since the morning hours, groups of friends began to arrive. The minutes passed by lovely. And Brother Jacob says, I could not express the joy that dominated the most inner fibers. In the evening, Dr. Bezerra, Sayão, Guilhom Ribeiro, Leopoldo Cirne, great names in the Spiritist movement, Inácio Bittencourt, Rosenberg, Frederico Júnior, Ulisses, Tosta, Casimiro Cunha, the poet, Batuíra, Romualdo de Seixas, Pititinga. Pititinga was considered by Chico Xavier the most extraordinary medium of physical effects in Spiritism, okay? Emmanuel was there, André Luiz was there, and many other workers of Spiritism in Brazil, encouraging our hearts. You see, the team gets together and the greater ones come. Friends, when you love somebody, you just want to be there supporting. You think the higher spirits are not going to be with us when we want to learn and to serve? Why wouldn't they? Trust in the good. Because there are many loving spirits who want to help and want us to be a bridge of help. The work of fraternal communion began. Several counselors present exhorted us to the ministry of the gospel, the action of the gospel. Bezerra de Menezes led the final part. He commented on the greatness of life. Now feel what he's telling us. Visualize. Dr. Bezerra telling us now, you and I, all of us, the greatness of life unfolding, infinite, in all angles of the universe, and the divinity of the uplifting work that he named by stairs illuminated, dirty steps leading us to the source of creation. Dr. Bezerra explained wisely, with reference to the service that would compel us from now on, and reported to the treasures of goodwill, moving us to tears of hope and contentment. Finally, in a gesture that induced great joy in us, he invited André Luiz to make the closing prayer, alluding to his informative works of our sphere or action. Isn't that beautiful? When we began this book, Brother Jacob was saying, oh, but I wanted to give a message. And André Luiz, who is not even a spiritist, is writing messages through Chico Xavier. And when he wraps up the book, he shares with us that now he's team working with André Luiz, that André Luiz is operating in this moment with him and is invited by Dr. Bezerra de Menezes to lead a prayer. And the esteemed physician of spirituality arose and prayed. You want to listen? Right, Rudy? It's 21 nights of love. Feel, friends, wherever you are, feel it. Lord Jesus, give us the power to operate our own conversion, so that your kingdom of love may be radiated from the center of ourselves. With you in us, we will convert darkness in clarity, pain in joy, hatred in love, disbelief in living faith, doubt in certainty, evil in goodness, ignorance in understanding and wisdom, harshness in tenderness, weakness in strength, selfishness in a fraternal song, pride in humility, evil in infinite good. Lord, we know that we can only get inferiority in ourselves, from ourselves, one that we should get rid of. But we united with you, we are fruitful branches in the tree of the ages of the times. that the storms of experience will never cut. Loving Master, please support us in order for us to rise in the presence of your wise and compassionate hands, lifting us from uselessness for the service of divine cooperation now and forever, and so be it. The prayer ended in a dazzle of brightness and joy, extending beyond us. What could I say in recognition? Out of my joy, copious tears poured out of my eyes. Farewells were made, and soon, as the companions of my new struggle rested in the abode that would house the guiding thought, I found myself alone under the trees, bathed in moonlight. In the heavens, those same stars shone forth, which from time to time I had become accustomed to behold from the crust of the earth. Meditating with a happy soul on the following day, when I would return to the same blessed work which I had begun among men, I, in silence, the blessing of the Eternal, receiving the blessing of the Eternal, I would not lack light and peace, balance and courage in the blessed task of the beginning anew. This is us, my friend. We're here giving a hand to the ones there, and then we'll be there giving a hand to those here. This is the Love Society, the Love Corporation. After these 21 days, we need to be awake to serve more, and especially for those who are spiritists, you're being asked to refine your knowledge and your skills into teamwork to put together rescue work services wherever you are. Count on us. Count on the federations around the world. Count on Jesus, on God. My friends, a hug of gratitude.